Hi guys, so today I'm going to do something a bit different. So I'm sort of going to make a video rather than sort of necessarily speaking to the usual audience, just kind of make a general video about a another online, I guess, e-commerce site, which is Shopify. You may have heard of it. So basically, Shopify is a site that allows you to create and customize your own website and your own store, as opposed to something like eBay, where you make your listing sort of under the eBay site. People go to eBay, they'll search for a particular item, and a whole bunch of that item will come up from a bunch of different sellers. Whereas Shopify, the way Shopify works is you kind of make it like a company website. People go to your website and they can find products only available for sale for you. So in terms of why you may or may not want to use Shopify, I think the couple of main advantages with Shopify is that it is a lot more customizable. And I think the other advantage that it has over something like eBay is that the fees are less. So the monthly subscription fees are about the same, but with eBay, you have to pay anywhere between, depending on your store package, but anywhere between around 7 to 10%. Whereas with Shopify, you don't really pay any fees for a sale, you just pay fees for um, the actual the transaction, so the actual financial payment. There's a fee for that, but there isn't actually like a individual selling fee for each item that you sell. In terms of the disadvantages, I think with Shopify is it is a little bit more intensive in terms of just IT nous and IT knowledge. eBay, I would say, is quite user friendly, whereas Shopify, it's not that difficult to use, but customizing websites and things, it is a little bit more difficult. It's not sort of hardcore coding, but um, it is a bit more difficult if you haven't had experience with that. The other huge disadvantage with Shopify is that it's very hard to get buyers to come to your website. So with eBay, you list something and people are searching for that item, it'll come up. But when you create Shopify, you've kind of got your own website, your own web address, and no one's really going to find your website unless you do some kind of advertising. People aren't just going to find it from Google. Um, and that really is the biggest disadvantage, particularly if you're starting off in business. Now, I can say for our website, people know the name. We have Facebook page, YouTube channel, eBay store. We've been around for a while, and our Shopify website still hasn't been indexed to Google. It still doesn't come up, even if you search. As you can see, figuring out Japan, Shopify still doesn't even come up. And we've been monitoring the amount of traffic for the last 4 months that we've had the Shopify website, and we've basically had like one visitor per day, if that. Um, it's that low. Whereas on eBay, I guarantee you, even as like a new user, you would get at least one person looking at your listing a day. That's every listing that you put up. Whereas for us, it's like the site. You might have one person who visits the site. The only way that we've been able to increase that number or drive any traffic basically to our website is by using our mailing list, or by putting a video up on our YouTube channel saying the store is up and that sort of thing. So for that reason alone, I wouldn't recommend Shopify as running an online store, because it's just so hard to drive traffic to that website. um, but if you feel like you have been doing business for a while and you feel like you've sort of been a bit established, you've got your eBay store going and it's running nicely, and you want to go to Shopify, how does that process work? Well, we used the importer from Shopify. You can import the listings into the Shopify website, and I hope those images moving aren't driving you nuts. um, and you know, I think that worked acceptably. I mean, it wasn't great, but it did the job. I mean, you lose a lot of the formatting. You have to change. I mean, we spent hours, we've spent days going through and fixing up things and getting all the categories right. And then there were some items maybe that we thought weren't worth having on the actual store and things like that. Um, and then I think the thing that we really underestimated was then the maintenance, because now every time you change something on eBay or whoever else you're using, you then have to change it on Shopify. So you have to manage your stock levels. If you're changing products, products sell out, new products come in. We sell items on pre-order, so then they get released, and we have to add the images and things like that. And we kind of didn't think that we changed things that much, but you really realize once you become conscious of it, you really realize just how much, um, just how much you actually are managing then, both websites. And it does become a very, very big administrative task to do that. And you obviously want to make sure as well that for professional reasons that it is consistent and that, there's no like massive discrepancies in price and things like that. So, um, that also becomes a really big job, and there's no way to automate that. There's no way that you can like update and just click a button and say, okay, I want to import my eBay store at the end of each month and update it. That you can't do that, so you just have to manually do it after the initial import, and it just does the listings. You don't see anything on the homepage. We had to create all of these um, titles and the categories and things like that. So that's just some of the sort of quirks and issues I think with Shopify, which is one, it's extremely hard to get traffic to your website, and the second problem is just the maintenance of it. Um, so then, so yeah, basically we kind of had the store up for a few months, weren't really selling anything, and it's not the products necessarily. We sell heaps of stuff via eBay. Then we had this bombshell. So we get this email from, um, let me just try and get this. So we get this email from this monkey called Franz, and he says, "We value your business, it's blah 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 blah, but it looks like you are selling a product we can't support on the Shopify Payments Gateway as it violates the Shopify Payments terms of service. We are unable to accept payments for SWO pharmaceuticals, meaning any product that makes a health claim, including things like supplements, vitamins, skin brighters, blah, 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 as outlined here." So, if you actually go to the link, so actually, maybe let me just explain that. So, one of the products that we sell are things like Japanese healthcare products and cosmetics and things like that. Now, these are products that you can buy everywhere in Japan, literally in thousands of pharmacies, chemists across Japan. Some big, even like supermarkets sell them. They're released by reputable companies like Shiseido or Mandom, things like that. The products that we were selling were things like, hair gels, sunscreens, makeup removers, skin moisturizers, things like that. I would personally not consider those as a SWO pharmaceutical. When I think of the word SWO pharmaceutical, I'm thinking like 3 a.m. infomercials on TV that are saying you can lose, 20 kilograms in, in 1 week for doing nothing. But anyway, so they use this word SWO pharmaceutical. Now, if you go to the link that they provided, um, which is here. So the Shopify payment terms of service. So in there, they have a list of things that you can't sell on Shopify. So it says prohibited business. Now, a lot of these things are pretty obvious, I would say. Age restricted products, alcohol, bankruptcy lawyers, cruise lines, a whole bunch of things. But if you go down here, you'll see the word SWO pharmaceutical. And you'll notice that there's no detail, there's no further in-depth thing. So this really caught us off guard, and we're like, wow, okay, like we didn't consider what we were selling as SWO pharmaceuticals when we originally saw that. So if you actually check what a SWO pharmaceutical is, and this is actually from the Shopify thing, it's saying apparently it's things like vitamins, herbs, supplements, botanicals, etc. that fall under the category of SWO pharmaceuticals. Now, if you actually go to Wikipedia, which may not be the best definition. I know you technically can't use Wikipedia as like a reference thing, but anyway. So SWO medicine is any medicine which claims to be effective for diagnosing or treating specific medical conditions, but which has been disproven or which is unproven, and the mainstream scientific opinion is that it will not be proven to be effective. Now, I kind of thought about this, and let me take a step back. So basically what this guy Franz was saying, now in the email he says all of these things, and what he actually did was, so I actually then said, well, please send us a list of what the items were, and he didn't, and then I had to ask a second time, and what he literally did was, and I copied the hyperlink that because you can't see it in the email, but it was the hyperlink. So he just went to our product list and searched the word whitening. And he said, well, any pharmaceutical product that has the word whitening, if you're not looking to sell pharmaceutical products, don't worry, because I will explain things in a more general sense. But, he said anything with the word whitening in it is, not, is SWO pharmaceutical. Now, just to use an example, one of the products that we were selling was toothpaste, and most toothpaste will claim that they help whiten your teeth. I mean, that's one of the reasons why people brush their teeth every day, right? To keep their teeth looking clean and healthy. Now, if I just to use a very simple example, if I just search Colgate toothpaste, let's see how this goes. So if I go images, so there you go. First thing that comes up, Colgate toothpaste, whitening. It's got the word whitening in it. Things like cavity protection, fluoride toothpaste. Under Shopify's definition, this would be considered a SWO pharmaceutical, right? Because it's got the word whitening in it. You could argue that sunscreen is a SWO pharmaceutical because it claims to protect you from the sun. You could claim that skin moisturizers that keep your skin looking, healthy. I know there's, ones in Japan that say it makes your skin look 5 years younger. Not 50 years, just 5, it just keeps it, fresh and young and whatever. You could claim that that's a SWO pharmaceutical. So why do people buy skin moisturizers? Why do people buy basically any pharmaceutical? And this is where I take objection to their definition. What they should have done is, instead of saying SWO pharmaceuticals, just say pharmaceuticals full stop. Because by their definition, basically everything is a SWO pharmaceutical. I mean, vitamins, like vitamin C. Everyone knows you need vitamin C. You need vitamin D, which is, you can get vitamin D from the sun and things like that. So they are really, really strict on what they do. To use another example, and I was just sort of searching around, Googling, there was this other guy here who said, we sell hunting and fishing knives, which are considered weapons when they are actually tools. So you can turn around and say that you're selling fishing tackle, and that's considered a weapon. You might be selling, I don't know, Star Wars figurines, and they may claim that that falls under, um, that might come under here that infringes upon copyright. I mean, you're allowed to sell Star Wars figurines if you want. That's not an infringement of copyright, but Shopify might turn around and say it is. So going through this list, there's almost anything. Like just going through here, telecommunications equipment and telephone sales. They might say that mobile phone cases um, fall under that category. So you just have to be really, really, really careful with whatever you're going to sell on Shopify. And the thing, that makes me quite frustrated. What makes me even more frustrated is what this monkey Franz says later on. So, we asked him for the list. And, I actually said here, hello, Franz, please send me a list of the specific items you're claiming causing, the problems. So he turns around and he answers, unfortunately, going forward, we will not be able to help with payments on the account, even if the payments are removed from the account. Sorry, even if the products are removed from the account. So even if you remove the products that they claim have a problem, then it doesn't change. They still will not accept payments. Now, how valuable is your Shopify website if you can't take payments? I'll answer that question for you. It's worthless. If you can't sell anything and accept payments, then it's not worth anything. And the problem with the real problem here is, for us, we spent days getting this site up and running, and the site's been up for about 4 months. We've been paying all these fees to Shopify, and now they plonk this on us. And we're not alone. We are not alone in this. Again, if I just go back to, this here, you can see other people complaining. I've been paying about $90 a month for the last 6 months, and now I can't, I can't do it. And why Shopify didn't pick this up as a new account. Like these products have been up from day one. Why they didn't turn around at day one and said, we have a problem with you selling these products, then it would have been like, okay, great. Then we'll not great, but okay, we'll shut the store, or we won't sell these products, or but there's no warning. You don't know when it's going to come. It could be 6 months down the track. It could be 4 months down the track. It could be 1 week down the track. It could be anything. And once you get that email, there's nothing you can do. You can't remove the items. You can't fight it and complain. I still vehemently believe that these are not SWO pharmaceuticals, because if they are, then you basically discredit the entire, like, anything that has anything to help your body in any way. And you just can't fight it. Bottom line, you just can't fight it. So you're going to be sitting there sweating every day about, well, is what I'm doing legitimate? Is my store going to be banned? What's the story? But so it's a real shame, because I think that I think the more competitors online to places like eBay and Amazon, the better. And it's just a real shame that Shopify has potential. I can see the potential in it, but when things like this happen, it really is scary. And as I said, you don't know when it's going to happen. You don't know why it's going to happen. You don't know how they're going to pick you up. We certainly had no intention at all of selling anything that is illegitimate or banned in any way. But that's what happened. So for that reason, I would strongly not recommend Shopify as as an e-commerce provider, and it is unfortunate. And I sort of say this to our customers who do regularly watch the channel, that you know we're going to unfortunately have to shut the site down, and I don't know, we may open and go to another e-commerce provider, but that's just going to take time, obviously, and it's just a real shame. So I do apologize to our customers who have been saying, why can't I make orders? Am I doing something wrong? Have I been banned or something? Customers have been genuinely concerned. No, it's got nothing to do with you. This is what's happened. And to other people who are considering Shopify as an e-commerce provider, as I said, I would unfortunately strongly say that I don't think that they are pro-business, for the reasons that I've explained in this video. But I'd love to hear other people's comments. Maybe you have other experiences like this person here. I'll put links to these as well in the description of this video. Their terms of service, and this forum that other people experience the same issue with. But I'd be really interested if there's other people out there who have had similar issues. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope this video was useful for you.